What's going on? Welcome back, Man of Prestige, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Man of Prestige. Let's talk about it. We got a couple of things to talk about today. I'm trying to see if I can still grab the topic real quick so I can post it on the screen. I think I can. Yes, that's awesome. What's going on? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. As you can see, I've been coming here quite daily. I was supposed to start 30 minutes ago. I apologize. For the tardiness in case you try to catch me on time. But nonetheless, we're just taping. The idea is that you can always come here and watch this, and you can catch me live as much as you can. But yes, let's get started because this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's spend some time together and talk about some of the things that's going on in life right now. But yes, today we're talking about. We have to pick up Kendra G again. I was gonna do it one time, but then something happened over the last 24 to 48 hours, and there's been some reactions, in the manosphere. Honestly, we cover everything relationship here, not just manosphere stuff. But anytime I see the manosphere respond to stuff, typically it's about relationship. Even though they try to claim it's all about the community, typically it's about relationship. Right? And unfortunately, majority of them will not particularize the issues. They will generalize, and that leaves an open space for me to come back and just add some more value to whatever they're talking about. So I don't want to devalue whatever they're talking about. It's just that oftentimes I can't relate. I don't have those. I can't relate with a lot of the struggles when it comes down to community. For obvious reasons, but I can relate when it comes to the relationship aspect of things. And if I can hear undertones that sounds like is relationship issues, then I can also always address that, right? So today we're talking about Kendra G's 7 tips and questions for men on this episode of the S.I.G.N Language, featuring April Mason. This happened once upon a time. For some of you that have been paying attention to this space, this happened before, and I did speak to it. I think I did. I spoke to it at that time. I keep saying there's certain type of women, they don't mean to set you up, but it's a setup. If you just engage without paying attention like a man, you are going to find yourself flat on your face. You're going to be disappointed all the time. Where does disappointment come from? Disappointment comes from expectations, right? Disappointment comes from expectations. Without expectations, there's no such thing as disappointment. But if you have realistic expectations of women, maybe you won't be as disappointed. So I got a couple of questions I want to ask today. First of all, what's going on? By the way, shout out to anybody who joins from Twitch. We're on Twitch now, I want to reach out as much as possible. What's going on, brother? I thought you were going to do it live earlier. I was looking for it, but it looks like you didn't do it live earlier. It looks like it was postponed. But anyway, yeah, I was struggle streaming. I was about to struggle stream for 30 minutes ago. I saw the speed. I checked the internet speed. It was bad. And then I kind of pushed it. But it looks like it's decent right now. I don't want to struggle stream if I can avoid it. But yeah, shout out to you, Sahil. Let's talk about this. 7 tips and questions. Let me know if you want to come up, brother. Let me know, please. 7 tips and questions for now. What's going on in the streets of YouTube? Before I dive into this today, I want to talk about some of the stuff that's going on YouTube. Basically, some videos that I saw earlier. I figure I'll be sharing some of that just to be a little bit more transparent with you guys. Some of the ideas I get is from just watching this space and seeing what else is going on in the space, right? And I just look for opportunities to add value, But yes, let's go ahead and look at some of the stuff that is going on YouTube. I'm going to hide my screen right now. There you go. Boom. All right. So there's a couple of things going on YouTube that I saw earlier that I thought I could review really quickly. There's this video that I saw. Let me see if I can go on my history. Let's go under my history. Okay, so I was about to watch this. I didn't really watch it. I'm not really a big fan of this guy, MTR. I don't know why. It's just something that's off. But it could just be vibes. You never know. But let's see. Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson have reported split. Okay. I didn't watch that. How come that? Okay, maybe it previewed. Okay, I did watch this. The truth about the RP, right? Red pill. I guess that word is now becoming a flag word on YouTube. So let's just pay attention to that. For obvious reasons. Again, it is what it is. And this is one of the things I want to say to men, because again, if we're using certain types of choice words and those words are becoming red flags, we have to pay attention to why are they becoming red flags, beyond the idea that, oh, they just don't want us to speak the truth. There may be some truth to that, but also let's talk about the power end of things, right? So if we have truth, right, and we're trying to get that out to the world, it's still our responsibility as men. If we were women, then we'll have men, right? But we're men. So that means we can't really count on anything else except ourselves, right? To make sure that we retain our power. And when people take our voice away, we got to pay attention to why they're taking our voice away and find a way to mitigate that risk. Because that's not a good thing. We don't get to, there's nothing to point fingers at, literally, because we're, it's God, men, women, children, right? There's literally nothing to point fingers at. So we have to pay attention to why we will use certain choice words in certain spaces and it's taken away. It doesn't have to be a fault before we realize we have to pay attention to it. We don't have to worry about, oh, so it's always men's fault. No one is saying that. But we got to pay attention to why they're taking away anything that looks like something that men own. There's got to be a way around that. And that's what I want to hear more of, rather than no, they're just full of it, right? Anyway, yeah, so I watched this video, The Truth About the RP, with Sneeko. This guy just stumbled into my feed in the past 1 or 2 weeks, and he's been all over the place. 500,000, 10,000 people watching him live stream at any point in time. He's 23 years old, a bunch of young men. And I just found out today that he's been on YouTube since he was 14. 2 things to learn from that. Don't compare your journey to other people. You don't know where they get started. You don't know how they got started. You don't know what else they're doing behind the scenes. Until you know, you just don't know. Just stay in your own lane and keep learning and stay in your own journey. That's number 1 lesson for every man, right? Number 2 lesson is that he's young. He thinks he knows it all. Listen, I was 23. I was like that too. I thought I knew it all. You couldn't tell me nothing, and it's okay. And that's, at 23, I couldn't comprehend the possibility of knowing what I know today at 42. The hope is that you don't self-destruct before you get to 42 or beyond, because you don't know what you don't know. Because I'll tell you something right now. This world is a vicious space. Everyone is out for themselves. And that's it. Bottom line, people move based on how they guess what? Quote unquote, feel. That's the bottom line. There's no way around this. Like, never mind who's at fault or anything like that right now. There is this time and space for that. I'll leave that to other people to say, we blame you for this. We shame you for that. I'll leave that to the rest of you, right? But when it comes to reality, I got to paint the reality for you. The reality is that as a man, you're going to be held accountable by this space, not by a particular person in particular, right? Just the idea that you're the one leading this whole thing. But as a default, you're held accountable. So we don't get to give the excuse that I'm just only 22 or 23. I just didn't know what I was saying. That doesn't count too. Some of you are going to be lucky than the other people, right? Some of you are going to, end up in jail at the age of 19 and not come out until you're 41. It is what it is. I'm not worried about if it's your fault or not. That's your journey, but there's consequences. Be aware, if you're listening to me, that there are consequences of avoiding reality. Maybe not, you can avoid reality and get whatever short-term benefit you get from that. Feel good about yourself. But the consequences of avoiding reality, you can't avoid it. So that was a video that I watched. It was quite interesting. Same, I heard a lot of good things from even the Fresh and Fit. I have to say, they're probably going to evolve over time, just like the AMS, right? Um, but again, don't count on that. If you're an individual watching them, don't think because they evolve and they made it through that you're gonna make it through. It's the same thing like the red pill rage. Some people just never gonna make it through, and I hate to say it like that, but it's just the truth, right? So if you're listening to me, you need to be self-aware and just say, hey, listen, let me make sure I'm paying attention to all the different nuances, because the real truth is in between the nuances, and it's almost like we'll never figure out what the real truth are, right? But if you're just aware that you're not as perfect as you may think in your head, that you may not be as knowledgeable as you may think in your head, if you're just that much aware, you're better off. You're like 50% of the battle won just by being aware, right? And everything else is easier to pick up more knowledge and wisdom as you move through life. You know, life is a beautiful thing, but it's an extremely vicious thing. Bad things are happening to good people all the time too. That makes you want to say, that's not fair. You're right. You're right. Anyway, before I get into so I watched that video. I watched this video with what do we call it? Miles Cunningham and Locario and them. You know, I like them because when it comes to romantic romance and things like that, when it comes to the dating game, they got that on lock. They really understand what I'm hearing from them. They understand the nature of a woman, regardless of what stage you're in, dating, relationship, or marriage. I personally think there's not that much difference outside of understanding context, right? So I think they understand that Locario is still a weird ass lifestyle that I don't understand. I'm not supposed to understand it. It is okay. He has a girlfriend that also has a boyfriend, and then he has a girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, you know, craziness. But I've heard enough that, in fact, that taught me a lesson that people can have a different lifestyle and still understand this thing we call life and game, right? And when we say game, it doesn't mean you're playing games or manipulating, because I saw another video earlier with a guy that was basically pushing hard back at them about manipulation. That game is manipulation. Well, it's all perspectives, right? So there's some things in life you can think of as manipulation or persuasion, right? In sales, some persuasion skills you may need to apply. And you know, you may say, okay, that's manipulation. Depends on what lens you're looking at things from. Bottom line is that when anything is worthwhile in life, some kind of achievement you're looking to achieve, it requires skill set. That's what we mean by game. There's a skill set. There's a way. There are principles that guides from your input, the processes that create the output, the outcome, that we can basically bring down to a science. There's a set of rules, if you will, on how you relate with the ladies that create certain types of outcome on a consistent basis if everything else were equal. Obviously, everything else is not equal. Some people are short, fat, and ugly. It is what it is. Some people are tall, dark, and handsome, right? It is what it is, right? But we need to first of all acknowledge that there's a set of rules that's for everyone. And when you understand that, you can obviously leverage that in your favor and then find out where your strength is and weaknesses and then find a balance. But if you're just going to throw your hands in the air and just say, there's no such thing as game, it's all manipulation, there's no easier way to say that you're defeated, that you give up. Because anything in life that's worthwhile, including marriage, there is game. It simply means there's skill sets involved. And it's stupid, utterly stupid, to just throw your hand in the air and say there's no such thing. Just be yourself. That's what he said. The young man, he was 27. 27 is a grown-ass man. I got married at 27. That's not an excuse, right? Yeah, so utter stupidity. I don't mean an insult when I say that. I want you to see the magnitude of the ignorance and the lack of knowledge there. When you say, let me just, there is game. There's even 15 years in marriage, there's game. There's a way you relate with a woman to create consistent outcome over and over again. And if you don't believe that, that's okay too. Remember what I said? It's not a matter of fault and blame. It's just your journey. You may have to go through this to really be able to comprehend what I'm saying. A lot of times in life, we have to go through these things to really be able to comprehend. but because we need that, there's no the context, like mentally speaking, right? We don't have that context, so we couldn't really understand. Even if I spell everything out for you in textbook, I know way too many smart kids, way too many physicists, scientists. They're extremely smart. Even if you spell out emotional intelligence for them in science, but suddenly when it comes to women, they don't get it. They don't get it because we're humans. Let's just stay humble, right? Anyway, so I think there was one more video I wanted to mention. Yeah, I did check out Uncle Stu. Uncle Stu is a little bit too preachy for me. Like, it's like church. I'm a keyboardist in church, so I kind of get enough of that, Yeah, this is some of the stuff I watched earlier. But anyway, yes, of course I watched Black Male Advice TV, Ringo TV, and it was talking about this same topic we're about to talk about right now. And the lessons I want to extract here is for men in particular. Okay? The lessons I want to extract out of this Kendra. First of all, a quick backstory. Some months back, the manosphere keep falling into this, okay? But I expect them to keep falling more and more into it. Every woman, at the very core of a woman, they're the same. I'm not talking about characters. I'm not talking about personality. I'm not talking about temperament level. Of course, people are people and people are different in so many layers. But at the very core of the difference between a man and a woman is a woman. Women, in fact, I was just hearing on Fresh and Fit. Funny enough, I just heard that like a few minutes ago. Women can sympathize with you, meaning, wow, I'm sorry you're going through that. They can advocate for us. That's nice. But it carries very, very little weight when it comes to the grand scheme of things. In terms of the experience of a man and the kind of weight on your shoulder, in terms of what's required of you as a man, if you're a man of prestige. Obviously, you have all of these ambitions, right? You want to be a man in your own household. You want to take care of your family. It's just something inside of you that wants to do that, and it gives you life to be able to protect and provide, take care of your children, take care of your queen. There's something that he does to you. That's why it's like somebody stabs you in the chest. If somebody pulls the rug from under you in terms of asking for divorce, it's a very painful experience for men, which is why I have the empathy that I have for the manosphere. I've been through my own ups and downs. It's not a smooth road, right? There's nothing worthwhile in life that's smooth road. My problem with men is like, dude, it's unrealistic expectations when you think it's going to be a smooth road. There's nothing worthwhile in life that doesn't come with the level of pressure we're talking about, with the level of chaos we're talking about that you have to get through. I mean, how would you think it's worth it? How would you know it's worth it if you don't go through that, right? Like, if it was easy, everyone else would be doing it, right? Clearly, we know that majority of people, especially now with the loud noise on social media, they're complaining about the state of the marriage institution. 50% are divorce. So sell us on it. Like, I'm not selling you a jack. I want you to sell me on why you have the rhetorics you have right now. Tell me what's going on with you. Sell me on why I should believe that it's really about holding women accountable and it's not something else. That's what I want to know. Right? We don't need to sell a marriage institution. It's an institution. It's a beautiful institution. Institutions comes with their ups and downs. But just like the judicial institution, the government agencies and things like that, there's red tapes and all kind of politics and things like that goes into it. So marriage is not no different, right? But you will never be able to take away from the upside of marriage and the family structure, especially the cornerstone of the society, right? So when a woman like Kendra G has certain rhetorics, it's lightweight, and my disappointment is always going to be in men. I'm sorry. Why do we set these people on such pedestal? Why do they fall so hard? If they weren't on pedestal in the first place, they really shouldn't be falling in the first place. Like, I reacted to two of her videos. I called it the best of Kendra G. I reacted because of the people on the show, not her. I don't know her like that. Outside of we know she's a talk show host on a radio show, I could care less. And it is YouTube. And yes, we can react to material. If I don't react to your material, I don't want to. Or maybe I don't want to give you that kind of shine. I reacted to a few Lapiv. I noticed that this guy was full of himself a little bit. I left it alone. It was giving me some views. I left it alone. I'm not interested. I could go for the trending news like Skid Davidson, a bigger fish, like Kendra G said, right? But the truth of the matter is that we have the right to respond or react to any video and take clips and have commentaries around it and things like that. But she had some choice words to say, and and I see a lot of men are reacting to it. And the reaction is what I'm looking at. Okay, what do you expect from her? Wait, you got too excited because she was holding women accountable? Is that the problem here? The same thing happened a few months ago with April Mason. She came out and she said, listen, I'm tired of black women. I'm tired of black women because they're not realistic. Everybody took that soundbite, they ran with it. They're like, oh shit, she's on our side. How naive. How naive could we be as men? Right? She was trying to create another business. Yes, sir. That's Sir Hill. I see that. Absolutely. Evergreen content. Yeah, we definitely got to do more of that so that it can sit here for 10 years and still be extremely useful. Absolutely. Yep. So, yeah, this lady, the same thing. So she came on TLA show, the Lead Attorney show, and then in just a matter of less than an hour, the true colors of a woman came out. Something that, please, all I'm trying to do here, men of prestige, I want you to be aware that women are beautiful. They're such a beautiful creature. We need to stop asking them to be men. Do you know what you're doing when you're asking women to be logical? Like, I get it on the surface, it sounds good. I get it. Be logical, be an adult. As human beings, we don't get to decide if we're going to be masculine or feminine. We don't get to decide that. It's masculine, yes, because it's structure, security, safety, order. We can decide to be masculine, especially as men. We can decide to maintain our frame. The very act of trying to maintain frame is masculine by itself. But the idea of asking people to be feminine and be logical, it's an oxymoron, especially when we're talking about romance and relationships. They can be logical and have a conversation, but the idea of sitting down, let's have a meaningful conversation, logical conversation, to a large extent, there's a lot of masculine energy there, and rightfully so, because we're trying to get to a solution. Yes, even both of us, because that's the beautiful thing about masculine energy. It creates structures. It makes you feel safe. You can. We're not trying to create sexual polarity. We just want to have a conversation. I don't really need you to be feminine when I'm trying to get to a solution in the conversation. I need you to, as a matter of fact, never mind masculine and feminine. I need you to listen to me and let's come up with a solution. They're not relevant. But in the same breath, we have people saying, oh, I want feminine women. But why can't you be logical and adult? Dude, do you realize what you just said? That's an oxymoron. A feminine woman, it's a feminine woman based off of the vibes, how you see her, right? She's soft and all of that, right? Feminine energy is a different beast altogether. It's chaotic. It seems beautiful when you're in your masculine frame because there's a sexual polarity that's being created, right? But you're in that space and you're enjoying it, so it really doesn't matter. It's varieties and certainty at the same time, and it's match made in heaven. And we have the spark, sexual polarity, right? But then we're ready to have community development conversations, and then you bring in the conversation about feminine energy, like they're not related. You're going to argue, you're going to debate. And yes, when a woman get in a space that she doesn't feel safe, even if it wasn't your fault, the sign language will come out. Or like Sir Hill will say, the drop language will come out. I saw that. That was pretty slick. The drop language, it will come out. It will come out. It's just a default. She doesn't feel safe. Remember feminine energy, right? It's chaotic, right? So she doesn't feel safe. That means it's either you're not responsible for that, you're just about your own business as a man, right? But she doesn't feel safe and secure. It will come out. So what does that have to do with Kendra G? Before I get into the 7 lessons, I have 7 questions, and I'm going to go through them right now. These are the questions that I have, right? These are the questions that I have. Then I'll go through the 7 lessons very quickly, and then, I think, do I really care for Kendra G? No. And I don't like the idea that way too many men care way too much for what she had to say about the men. Like, she generalized men, and she talked about small penis men, right? Listen, I could be walking down the street at any point in time, and some random crazy ass chick would just be like, small penis man. That's happened before. I've seen people come on a panel and literally generalize people, and I'm like, indifferent. I know everyone don't act like me, but I'm telling you, there's so much power when you're able to be indifferent, when the issue is not really about you. It's such a powerful thing. It gets to them too. But when you react to that, there are 2 things, okay? 2 things. It's either you lack self-control, right? Or you actually have small penis. It's one of the 2. It's got to be one of the 2, because you care. You care. I just need you to acknowledge that, yes, I do care. Now, whatever reasons why you care, it could be bigger than me. You're right. Maybe because of community, we should care and check this, ladies. Yeah. Good luck with that. You're checking a stranger that literally don't give a shit about your feelings. That you guys will never be in the same space, probably, right? So that's the first question. Do I really care for Kendra G and her opinions? Do you? The second question, just something to have thought. Like, is Kendra G another April Mason for the manosphere? Yes. She was checking the women, holding them accountable. So the manosphere got excited. Somebody's holding this woman, so everybody started reacting. The video reactions were all over the place. I didn't know who this chick was until like 2 weeks ago again. The reactions were everywhere. I'm like, oh, I can say, okay, the manosphere is excited because somebody is holding women accountable. Everybody's dick get hard when somebody is holding women accountable, right? That's happened then. It's happened now. So we get excited. Go look at some of the content creators, women content creators in this space. I wish I could just see their analytics. It's probably 95% men commenting, excited. Look, it's nice, it's cute, it's beautiful, it's nice that they're advocating for men. I'm never gonna knock that. But I may sound a little bit like I'm knocking it, and I don't mean to. I just want you as a man to realize that there's no power in that for you. You don't gain nothing from that. It's a setup for failure. Because if you bring that same woman into a romantic space with you, she will show you she's a woman. Because there are going to be moments, ups and downs, when she doesn't feel safe and secure. Guess what's going to come out? The drop language. It may not be as harsh as small penis, but something that is going to tamper with your insecurities will come out of her mouth sometimes, until you figure it out, because people grow over time and it becomes better. Sir Hill will tell you that. Anybody that's been married will tell you it gets better, especially after 10 years mark. Oh yes, you figure some shit out that a 23-year-old kid will never know. Forget that. A 55-year-old man who's never been married will never know. They just don't know, and it's not their fault. They can't know what they don't know because they can't comprehend. That's why I don't even try to talk too much about it. I like to talk from, hey, tell me your problem and I'll see if I can add some insight, add some perspective to it, right? Because I want to deal with the context where you are. I don't want to talk to you about 15 years marriage, because even for me, 15 years marriage is one day at a time. Like, you have to like literally stay humble and realize that tomorrow is not promised, and that's got to be your mindset at all times. And what that does is that it makes you not put your woman on a pedestal, but it makes you like you nurture that baby, not particularly her, but yes, her too, but the relationship in particular, right? Which starts with you. That means you take care of yourself as well. So when they say take care of yourself, take care of yourself. Oh, yeah, that's the ultimate, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Particularly so you don't have to pour from an empty cup. You take care of yourself first, and then you pour into your wife, and then into the relationship. And even when she's a little weak and she's been a woman, which is not a bad thing, just different from a man. Stop asking women to be men. You need to pay attention more so to what she brings as a woman, as opposed to what she doesn't bring as a woman. That's like everything else in life. You pay attention to the beauty of it, the advantages, right? And then you notice it expands, as opposed to when you pay attention to everything that is just not. If you pay attention to everything that is not, you're going to see more of it. Is it spiritual? I don't know. Is it law of attraction? I don't know. But I've experienced it, and it's true. The third question that I have: has Kendra G triggered a bunch of grown men again, just like April Mason did when she came on the lead attorney? Why are we so surprised when a woman is being a woman? I know why. You don't know what you don't know, right? The ocean, it's a beautiful thing. We like to go to the beach, we see it, we see the waves, right? But we also know that it drowns people. We also know that people get eaten by sharks sometimes. Think of the feminine energy like the ocean. It's chaotic. When you really, really know what's going on in that trend and where the source, where it's coming from, and if the only thing you can do is learn how to navigate it, that's where your power lies. Learning how to navigate that baby, that's where your power lies. Your power is not being aggressive against it. You will drown yourself 100% of the time. So a complete stranger like Kendra G can trigger a bunch of grown men. That's something we need to pay attention to. Why did I not have any expectation of this young lady? I had no expectation. She's holding women accountable. It's just YouTube, it's just Instagram, it's just money. She's making money from doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. And yes, we can get like, okay, at least we can get excited a little bit and say, hey, she's teaching some young men, she's calling out some of the delusions and stuff like that, right? That's okay. But at some point, there's got to be a limit to that. You got to realize she's a woman. She's just another woman, right? And it's only a matter of time before the true colors show. If you watch enough of our videos, you're going to hear things that you don't like. That's just a default, right? So the word trigger do trigger people. I am aware. I'm trying to get your attention. Does Kendra G have right to be upset about her videos being reacted to? Of course she has no right. This is YouTube. As long as you don't take the whole thing and rip it out and upload it, which I don't think anyone is stupid enough to do. Fair use. You can use anyone's clip anytime. That's a fact. So she had no right to say what. So if she had no right, again, why are we overreacting to it, right? Why can't we just laugh about it? Why can't we just chuckle about it and say, like, this chick, she's a joke? Why can't we just do that, right? Why do we have to have like such a serious conversation about it outside of teaching ourselves? Like, if anything, don't take it so seriously is my point. Is Kendra G right about the small penis allegations? How could she be right? She don't know these people. So if she's not right, if she couldn't be anywhere right in the first place, why would we take it so seriously? The only thing we should be doing is laughing like, oh, she's triggered. Because she was triggered. She has been triggered. She's been seeing people lifting these videos, and she's been, seeing some commentaries that she probably doesn't like. She's probably hearing some extreme manosphere stuff. So somebody said something, so she got triggered. But the solution, especially if you want to talk about macro level solution, community, is never to overreact. By the way, in marriage, it's never to overreact either. Instead, you're better off stay calm, maintain your goddamn masculine frame. Okay? Because if you lose it, it's a wrap. You're not going to win that feminine energy game with with a woman. Because remember, in this social construct, it's something that they gravitate towards naturally unless they feel unsafe and not secure. So you're not gonna win that game of let's be chaotic and be nasty and be petty. You're not gonna win that game against a woman. If you did, the rest of us would look at you like, oh my god, this guy is that's a CC, he's a soy boy. It's sassy, spicy. Right? I'm gonna look personally. I would look at you sideways if you win a matching argument game against a woman. I would look at you, dude. I would start treating you like one of them, like women. No disrespect. I'm just saying that's gonna be the reality when you act that way. Is Kendra G special? Why? Why do? Okay. The issue here with a lot of this conversation is that we make women much more special than men. You can't tell me no different. There's nothing wrong with saying your woman is special. My wife is goddamn special. You can't tell me no different, right? She is. To me, she's beautiful and special, right? But wait a minute. That's a function of who I am, right? That's a function of how I show up. That's my queen. See, the my comes before the queen. It's my queen, right? But in a lot of this conversation, especially when we're generalizing, it looks like we are insecure and we think women are much more special than men. Is Kendra G special or just a typical woman? She's a typical woman, my friend. She's just a woman. She may be special to someone. Good for her. Congratulations. Let me see what's going on here. Sorry for not engaging for a second. Focus on the strength and improve on the weaknesses. Yes. Weaknesses, they will destroy you if you focus too much on them, because they will take attention away from your strength. Because energy is neither destroyed nor created. So there's only so much energy you have, and you really want to apply it towards your strength so that you can drown out weaknesses. And the people in your life, if you focus on your strength, they will benefit from it. They will enjoy. They will give you so much grace. And you will find people that try to call you out on your weaknesses and be like, shut the hell up. That happens to me all the time. I spend some time on Clubhouse. I have a place that I spend some time there. And you should see how people defend me. Like, I don't know this, but they defend, because again, just like in marriage and relationship, you sow certain seeds, you build, they call it love tank in the five love languages, right? When you have so much of that, like your love tank is full, you'll be able to get away with a lot more than you realize. Because you're human like the rest of us. You're going to fail sometimes. You're going to fall short. But people will you're going to need the grace at some point too in your personal relationship. Hey, Awa, nice to see you again. How you doing, Awa? Yeah. Yes, so I definitely think as men, we should pay attention to our weaknesses, of course, because that can destroy you if you don't pay attention too. But perspective, everything, context, right? Number 7 question I have: how do you respond to Kendra G without losing your masculine frame? Almost seemed like I already said. How do you respond to her, right? In my opinion, I'd rather extract the lessons for us as men. Hey, you see, we don't want to generalize women. That's not what we're trying to do, but you gotta pay attention to that. Every woman tend to. There's certain behaviors here that you should probably pay attention to. All right. So I may be struggle streaming a little bit right now. It's something I'm at the hotel still. I'll be leaving this spot in a little bit. Let's see. So I have the 7 lessons. Let me fly through the 7 lessons. I got the 7 lessons for men. So this is what I think we can get out of this conversation. How do you respond to Kendra G without losing your masculine frame? Let's just extract. In real life, in the corporate world, we call lessons registered. Like, we see certain things and we say, hey, let's collect the lessons. These lessons are going to be evergreen for you as men, for me at least. But I'm just sharing it so you can take advantage of it, just in case you find it useful. All right, so hopefully you can still hear my voice. I know my face is probably cracking up and stuff. I can see the signal is a little bit low. Lesson number 1: listen to women. Don't follow them directly or indirectly. When I say women, I'm supposed to say the feminine energy, right? Because they're not equivalent, they're not synonymous. Feminine energy and women. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna change it right now. The feminine energy and women are not synonymous. There are men that carry feminine energy. They get caught up in their emotions and they're all over the place, and you can't really get a word out to them because they're so upset. They're angry, right? Not feminine energy, right? When you say, there's a lot of context involved in these conversations when we're talking about feminine. You know, a feminine woman is not the same thing as feminine energy, right? I could see a woman that I don't know, I can describe her as feminine woman just because of the way she carries herself. I don't know her, right? But there's also feminine energy. Feminine energy is chaotic. It's beautiful, right? You need it with masculine energy to create sexual polarity, right? Complement each other and create sexual polarity. We call it romance, right? Creates that spark, right? When I say chaotic, I don't mean physically. I just means it's, you know, it's not trying to create order. The opposite of order is chaotic, right? So when we hear some of these things, the words being thrown around, just understand the context. Don't go into somebody's panel and say, that's not what feminine means. Don't do that, okay? It's, you know, especially if they're not asking questions. Let them say what they want to say, you know, and let people have their opinion in peace, right? It's okay to disagree too. I'm just saying, be aware that, you know, it may just be different, right? Listen to the feminine energy, don't follow them, right? You do need to listen because clearly you engaged that energy to be able to know or feel it as feminine, right? Meaning somebody is just all over the place there, you know. That feminine energy, when you're trying to bring structure, is like it doesn't care, right? It just is, right? What you need to do is listen to it so you can learn how to navigate it, so you can create the outcome you're looking for. Now, typically, this may come from a woman that you're with, okay? This will come from a woman, typically, right? Because of the social construct, they almost can get away with misbehavior. It's just what it is. It's part of our society, right? It's not their fault. It's not your fault. In fact, when you overreact, you're almost telling me you think it's your fault. You're overreacting because you're trying to fix it. Don't try to fix it because that's like following it, right? Just understand it, see it for what it is, listen to it clearly, and you give room and you back off of it, and then it settles because it basically has no choice but to follow your order. Remember, order, chaotic. It has no choice than to follow. See, when people say, oh, I just want a woman who can submit, dude, you just told me you're weak. I'm sorry. You engage this energy, and that means you're telling me you don't have the strength to be patient enough for it to submit to your order. Because again, like, let me use women now. Women, a typical woman naturally wants to submit, but it's always subconsciously searching for that masculine energy to submit to. How does that happen? It needs to feel safe and secure. If it doesn't feel safe and secure, which doesn't have to be your fault, it will not submit. This is the point where you say, maybe this is not the woman for me. Maybe the solution is to back off. If you engage that doesn't belong there, if you think it's your fault, you engage, you try to fix it. If you take responsibility for it, you may just be a Kanye West. You're trying to turn a 3 or 4 to a housewife. Typically, that's not, people have done it, but typically that's not possible. You need to be aware of these things, okay? So listen to the feminine energy. Generally, it just means when you see there's chaos, there's vested interest in you listening in, understand what's going on, and learn how to navigate it. Right? That's called leadership. Yes, leadership is relevant. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Of course it's relevant. It's always relevant in any type of interpersonal, interhuman relationship. Period. There's no way around it. There's no way to reshape the word to make it fit a narrative. Leadership is always necessary and is always a scarce commodity. All right? Let's go to number 2, the second lesson. If you have to tell a woman she's wrong more than 2 or 3 times, I meant to say, your communication method is not working. This is reality. Remember, I just talked about reality. I'm not making anything up. I didn't really make anything up in that sentence. I am struggle streaming. I can see it's even hard to save stuff. We're just gonna manage. If you have to tell a woman she's wrong more than 2 or 3 times, your communication method is not working. Oh no, she just doesn't listen. Dude, what does that do for you? I don't understand. What does that do for you? Like, approaching things from that standpoint, what does that do for you? Oh, I just get to hold her responsible. Is that the result you're looking for, to hold her responsible, or you're looking for your wife to listen to you? You need to identify the result you're looking for. First, what are your objectives? Your objectives tend to be disconnected from your feelings. Your feelings, of course, you're resenting the fact that she's not listening. I get it. I know that feeling. It can be annoying. But again, the point is we have to rise above your feelings. Remember, you're trying to be logical, right? Let's rise above your feelings a little bit. Okay. That communication method is not working. You said, whatever you said, however way you said it, maybe you're the kind that shuts off. Flight or fight. You shuts off when you find it, and then you shut off, but she can't see. She doesn't give a shit because she's a typical woman, right? She just couldn't see it. Maybe she got 2-3 babies that she's taking care of, right? For whatever reason, it's not connecting. Gentlemen, we need to focus on the results that we're creating. Never mind. You see, don't give your problems away. Your problems are a beautiful thing because they give you opportunity to solve another problem, and then you create this repository of wisdom. Anyone that you've seen the Sahils, right? Even TLA say something sometimes like, dude, this guy knows way too much. Because I've seen the attorney side of him, but I've also seen him talk emotional stuff. I think he knows what he's talking about. Everybody else is like, with all due respect, right? Even Rollo Tomasi is all over the place, just messy. Yeah. So if you have to tell her that she's wrong 2 or 3 times, it's not connecting. That's the reality. It's not. The reality is not how you feel she's at fault, it's a mother, the way she was raised by a single man. It's none of that. That's just the past. And unless you are a therapist, you really don't bring that to the table, because you'll make things even messier, because you'll say, hey, you're shaming her, and then you create even worse results. You're not her therapist. You are her boyfriend, her man, a husband, right? So the last thing you want to do, I've been there before, because again, I teach this stuff. So naturally, the terminologies and stuff, it doesn't work. Don't bring that into your marriage. Don't try to be your wife's doctor. It doesn't work. You're supposed to be a friend and a lover. That can be hard. When you know what you know, it can be hard to stay in that zone, because you can see you're almost diagnosing your partner. It doesn't work. Don't do it. You need to practice not diagnosing your partner. It will backfire, because she's not connecting with you as a doctor. She's not consulting you. She's trying to feel safe and secure. How is that your responsibility? I don't know. You tell me. Why do you care? If you don't care, why don't you just leave her? Right? So anyway, let's go to lesson number 3. The sign language is the inevitable, undefeatable, right? When a woman doesn't feel safe and secure around you. See, a lot of you got with somebody with a potty mouth. She was doing this to other people, but she wasn't doing it to you in the beginning because she was in love with you. But guess who's going to be on the receiving end of that? Who's going to be on the receiving end of that eventually in real life? When you get married and she starts to go through certain things, she has 2 or 3 babies, and at the job, or she feels stressed, or she's been sick, you've been protecting and providing. You actually told her to sit down home, but now she's starting to feel like the home is about to eat her up. And she's just looking for an outlet, but she couldn't really say it in words, whatever. Maybe her mother died, her cousin died, she has all this stress going on. Guess who the next person that she's going to, because we all point fingers. It's a bad habit that we all have. We just tend to point fingers at the next thing available, and holding yourself accountable is an extremely difficult thing to do, period, for any human being. It's always something else's fault. But guess what? Your greatest power lies in holding yourself accountable. It doesn't matter if you're a man or you're a woman. So the sign language is inevitable, just so you know. It's gonna, when it shows up, just say, hey, all I said it. And of course, if it showed up the way Kendra G just did it, small penis, you can see it coming and you can avoid it. Now, that's not typically how it starts. It starts very subtle. Little things. You can like, why are you acting insecure? It could be something simple like that. Something like designed to be harmless. And then you be like, what do you mean I'm insecure? And then you overreact, and then she overreacts, and then you overreact, and then before you know it, you are effectively in a toxic argument. And okay, my point is, but bruh, you're not getting some tonight. I guarantee you. And no, it's not your fault. It's just how things work out. This is how these things flow, right? And you're gonna be like, she's weaponizing it. No, dude, she just want to have sex with you that night. That's the first thing. She doesn't want it. If she wants it, she would not be able to find herself weaponizing it. If that was true, which it could be true, there's obviously deeper issues, toxic shit going on for a woman to weaponize sex against you. Yes, it does happen, but there are deeper stuff. The issue is not the sex. There's deeper stuff that you need to pay attention to. And guess what? No, you're not a therapy and all of that, but you have vested interest in figuring that out. You have to figure that out. You have to kind of settle in and say, hey, maybe there's something I should pay attention to there, right? Again, sorry for the struggle streaming. I promise in the next few weeks, I'm just out here trying to get this money. All right, so let's go to lesson number 4. Lesson number 4. Women can't help you hold other women accountable. Gentlemen, women cannot help you hold other women accountable. Anytime you see this, say, hey, congratulations, I applaud you, thank you for the advocacy. But it's a setup. They're not trying to set you up, but it's a setup. Okay? Just, it's probably going to turn to some kind of cat fight or something like that. Enjoy it if you enjoy such things. But that's not going to fix our society. Because, think about what that means. We need women to hold themselves accountable for us. We need permission to lead. We need permission to make a woman submit to you. And I mean mentally, right? You need permission to attract submission, trust. At a macro level, there are some things we should talk about. But we first of all need to separate the issues. Are we really talking macro or micro? If a person is talking to me about this conversation, I want to know if they're talking at a micro or macro level. 98% of the time, in the undertones, it's micro, it's individual, and they're not willing to share the full story. So we can't really solve a problem. At a macro level, we could say, yeah, these women need to behave. Yeah, I know that. We could start an Instagram page to start telling women how to dress on Instagram, I guess. Are you willing to do that? If you're not willing to do that, then let's really talk about the real issue. Tell me the real issue. Tell me the example. Give me that story. Oh, by the way, all you have to do is wait long enough. You'll tell the story, sure enough. It will be confirmed. It's individual. It's individual experiences. But then we try to fix individual experiences, problems with macro solutions. Do we see why it's not working? It's not working. It's not going to work because the solution doesn't match the problem, right? So women can't help you hold other women accountable. Stop getting excited when you see this. Just enjoy it. If you enjoy the YouTube channel, whatever, just enjoy it, okay? And if you know them personally, applaud them, because kudos to them, for sympathizing. They can't have empathy because they don't have an experience. They're never going to have an experience. Just like we can't have their experience. They don't know what it feels like to be a man in this society. You're never gonna know. Heard that from Fresh today. I thought it was a good point. Fresh and Fit. But they can't empathize. But more importantly, don't set yourself up. Don't compare that woman to the woman you're trying to relate with. Some of you will literally go back home and compare your woman to quote unquote a feminine woman on a screen. You don't know her. You don't even know what she stands like. You've only seen her upper body. But you're comparing her to the woman in your life. That's stupid. You realize how stupid that is? I want you to see the weight of that stupidity, to feel it. First of all, you should never compare people. You shouldn't go to the church and say, hey, my pastor's wife, do you see how she behave? Why do you behave like that? You're not going to solve the problem by doing that. You're going to create more resentment because you're not tapping into the root cause of the problem. You're dealing with the surface, right? You're just dealing with the surface. All you know is that you don't feel right with the way this woman is behaving, and you can see your wife and how feminine she is, and then you're comparing it. Never compare. So if you see some feminine women on YouTube and they're holding other women accountable, congratulations to them. I applaud them. I appreciate the advocacy for men. But gentlemen, our strength, our power is in the ability to hold each other accountable. Hold me accountable. I will welcome it without me and pandering. I'm okay with it. Then I can readjust and say, hey, I'm saying something to you, but it's not landing. And I can readjust how I'm communicating with you. But if you never told me that, I will never know. Right? That's if I care too much, by the way. For the most part, I probably don't. Right? But I'm just letting you get the analogy I'm giving right there. It comes down to, listen, this is a society of God, men, women, children. And that's the way it's set up. I don't care who's doing feminism or feminist thing out there. That's the reality. They want to be feminist in certain areas or not in other areas. We know the reality is, the truth is that a man is different from a woman. And they expected different expectations from those group of people in this society. So I'm telling you right now, stop getting excited when you see a woman holding a woman accountable. That's not going to necessarily give us any good outcome. Not necessarily. There's deeper issues that we need to talk about. Let's go to number 5 really quickly. You hold a woman accountable by holding yourself accountable first. It's a frame of reference, right? Holding accountable to what? When you're holding people accountable, holding them accountable to what exactly? If you haven't answered that question, it's a useless conversation, ultimately. Well, holding them accountable to the Bible, okay, have we made sure they're Christians? Hold them accountable to what standards exactly? Have we created the standard? If you make the standard a human being that's living here right now, not Jesus, a human being that live right now on YouTube channel, that's gonna backfire. But what standard exactly? What values in standard for this group of people? Why are they subscribing to it in a way that when you wake up, you don't have to read them to know it's getting out of it? In order to say, outside of those values, about accountability goes out the window. It's stupid. It's just stupid. It's one thing comes before the other. I like the idea of accountability. We just need to, again, with respect to what? Referencing what exactly? Accountable to what? Because clearly the goalposts are moving. That's the reality. We live in 2022. It's not 1963. I say that all the time for a reason. Why? Because context matter. Standard could be you. I don't deal with such women. We'll keep it moving. 7 billion, 3 billion people, women in the world. Right? Oh, okay. How do you hold her accountable? You hold yourself accountable. Did I put myself in this space? I can remove myself. Well, if I decide to subscribe to this space and she's in that space, I want to sleep with her, I want to have children with her, then I need to hold myself accountable a little bit more. That decision to do that, to choose to be in her presence. The same thing with women. Women need to do the same thing. Hold yourself accountable. The only way you hold up other people accountable, first you hold yourself accountable, because accountability as a thing is destroyed the moment you're not able to hold yourself accountable. It's just chaotic. It's just stupid, just arguments back and forth. Maybe we can make some YouTube money from that. That's about it. But in terms of building society and building relationships, it's useless. It's easier. Think of it this way: it's easier to hold people accountable when they can connect with the value you bring to their life. Like, hey, don't do that. And like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. This is how you like it? See how easy that was, right? Because they have that the base of that, the foundation of that. is respect. They have that respect as the foundation first. But you're trying to argue with someone that literally has zero respect for you, or you don't realize they don't have respect for you, which is even worse, right? And then you're saying, I want to hold you accountable. That's stupid. That's just being stupid. That means you don't know how to lay your grounds, right? Anyway, hopefully the struggle stream is not too bad. I think you guys can at least hear me. This is hotel Wi-Fi. Sorry about that. Treat all women equally with basic respect. Treat all women equally. Okay? That's game, by the way. There's no, this one is special because you heard her say something that sounds so feminine, not special. You don't even know that you're comparing her to your wife. You don't have to say it in words. We could tell. She could tell in your vibe, in your energy, that you're comparing her. Emotions is driving most of our activities. Did you realize that? The marketplace, everything. Emotions is driving most of it. Not the words. Words are powerful, but they are probably much more powerful when they're negative too. Because nobody wants to hear the positive stuff. It's boring. Treat all women equally with basic respect. Don't put one on a pedestal and then women are women, right? They are a product of the society. There's a way the society have, like, literally a person can be a woman and be rich tomorrow. That's the reality. We don't get angry over reality. That's stupid. Who do you want to complain to? There's women, there's men, and there's what? You want to complain to God? Point when I say stupid is that it's not productive. It's not productive, right? You want a better result? We need to come back to the table and have a conversation about it, right? What is it about you that's not making women and children conform to you when you are supposed to be the leaders of the society? That's really that's the basis of what I'm saying. If you want to treat all women special and call them queens, do that equally. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let no lames tell you something is wrong with that. If you want to call them, hey lady, call them lady. If you want to call them bitches and hoes, do that across board. At least they know what they're dealing with, right? But don't put one on a pedestal. Oh, there's bitches and hoes over here and there's feminine women. That's stupid. Not particularly because of what you're saying, because it shows in your energy, and that's why you're disappointed from time to time. Let's go to number 7. The game is still involved and required. So I heard the guy earlier saying game was tiring and it's manipulation. I talked about that earlier, right? Yeah. Game is not tiring. No, it's not. Game is not tiring. You're tired. You're giving up. That's what's going on, right? You're giving up. That's what's going on. Let's just call the spade the spade. You're giving up. You are a man in a society led by a man in so many respects. Maybe not in everything. In so many respects, right? And you're saying game is tiring. The fact that you have to learn how a woman reacts to how you talk, you have to learn that sign language is inevitable. If she feels unsafe around you, it doesn't have to be your fault. If she feels not safe and secure around you, yes, you will attract the sign language. Shaming, insult, guilt tripping, right? And the need to be right come from the part that, she needs to secure herself. She probably felt like you're saying some bullshit against women, and then she will fight back. That's just the reality. It's not, oh, this woman, the black, white, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I keep telling you, green color, blue, red, woman, yellow, it's the same thing across board. It shows up a little differently because of cultural differences. It's the same thing though. It's the same thing. But shout out to Sahil. Shout out to Awa. Shout out to anyone that stopped by. Shout out to all the people that watch the rebroadcast later. Thank you for hitting the like button. People that come here, thank you to all 2 of you that watched this video today. Share. I will continue to show up as these topics are coming up. Just realize that it's a conversation. It's just food for thought, right? Something to think about, right? The moment you start taking my words as gospel truth, we're going wrong. My words are not gospel truth. They're not, because I'm human like you, and I'm looking at things from a bias. I have biases too. It's a lens and stuff that I filter, if you will, right? But anyway, right now I'm about to maybe take a quick 5 minutes break. Then I'll go join my brother Black Man Unfiltered. He sent me a link earlier. So if you're watching me, let's go over there. Black Men Unfiltered. Let's go over there and talk up over there. They have an interesting topic going on there. But thank you again for being here. I appreciate you. And then I'll see you on the next one. And peace.